Welcome back to the Mid-Year YouTube channel. In today's episode, we're working on the 67 Roadster, finishing up some last-minute details on it. I'm going to show you one way to splice together a couple fiberglass panels by using bonding strips, so be sure to stick around. So we're about wrapped up on this 67. This is probably going to be the last video on this car, and we have a few details we need to wrap up. We need to mount the core support in the front to get the front end set up where it needs to. We need to get the stinger hood on here. Then we need to figure out exactly where this back section of the front end needs to live. We got to get it lined up and cut out, and we got to get some bonding strips put in here so we can actually glue this together. And I have to move this piece of the front end. We have some sanding to do in the back, and got to clean the car out. We have a couple final interior floor repairs to do and just some odds and ends. So I think first I'm going to work on trying to find some hardware and getting this core support hung in place, get the hood on, and then we can really get this piece dialed in to where it needs to make sure it's sitting in the right spot for the hood and the wiper grills to fit in place. So I have the core support bolted in, and I also put this hood on, and it fits pretty decent. One of these hinges is actually taller than the other, so the hood doesn't fit quite right, but I also don't have the strut rods that go from the core support to the front end in either, but it's good enough for mock-up purposes. It fits roughly how it should, front to back and width-wise, which is what I care about. And we can see we have a nice body line here. I trimmed back these pieces and slowly whittled it down, and I'm pretty happy with the way it fits up. Now it's kind of interesting to see, this was an original front end. I believe this one's aftermarket. You can see the difference of how these are cut and how this door is cut. So there's going to have to be some body work done in this area, which they're more than capable of doing. It's just going to be some whittling to get everything to line up. So what I'm going to do is pull this piece out, and we need to make some bonding strips to go in here. So if I pull this up, you can see from here to here, I'll make a bonding strip that goes here, and then I'll make a little short one that goes from here to here. We'll glue those in, we'll let those set up, and then tomorrow we'll glue this center piece in. So I cut out my little pieces of bonding strip, and these scraps were from a bonding strip that would have been right here on that blue front end. So there are some scraps in there that we could salvage. They're nice and strong because they have this other little lip here. So these are very rigid pieces. Now what I'm going to do is put a line on here to mark where I need to put my glue. And I'll just put like a couple hashes here so I know that this is the side that goes to the inside. And I even have a little piece down here, a little corner, so that way we have all of this area covered up, and I'll put glue in all these seams here so that whenever this dries up, we'll scuff it tomorrow, but this will be one nice flat surface that we can glue to. And the same is true on this side. We have a little scrap here from the dynamic Corvette 63 roof. We'll go ahead and put a couple marks on that and a little mark on this guy. Now that I have all these marked up, it's time to pull them off, and we will get our glue mixed up, the 3M08115 mixture. We'll put glue on this side of the part. We'll clamp them all up, and I already scuffed the underside of this before we glue this on. We'll let that stuff sit up overnight, and we'll be able to glue the centerpiece in tomorrow. So these bonding strips sit overnight, and they're nice and solid. You can see we have a nice gap in here. All that is filled in, so it's basically one piece, and that'll give us a really good mating surface for the new fiberglass. So now what I need to do is trim a little bit of these areas. I think this is overhanging and preventing the piece from fitting down. We're going to get all this scuffed up and let's get that piece fitting on here, and then let's get her glued in place. So I have the wiper area glued in place, and the glue is pretty much tacked up at this point. I'm gonna let this cure up overnight, and then next week I'll probably come in here with the DA, just knock off some of this ugliness, and knock off some of the stuff around the door opening, just to make it look nice and, you know, presentable, because this is pretty much it for this car. I did do a couple little repairs with some Fiberglass. I have to sand this once it cures up. There were just a couple little cracks that I just filled in there. And I came through here real quick with the 36 grit on the roll-off just to knock off any really pointy or sharp or big blobs of glue. And then I came over here with 80 just to smooth it out. And just, you know, one, it looks nice for the camera, but two, for the customer too. You know, want to make it look as nice as possible. And they're going to come through here and do whatever treatment that they like to use for their seams. You can see it looks pretty good. It's going to need a little bit of body work, but this all flows together really nice. So I think they'll be pretty happy with that. Same thing on this side. It's in good shape the whole way down. This piece here turned out really nice. It fits perfectly. So I'll let them figure out what they want to do with that. And then again, I just came in here with some Fiberglass. Well, that's really hot. I'm going to come in here and sand this. Whenever I put the quarter panel on, I ground down all of the bonding adhesive that was on this pillar. And from the factory, when they glued the quarter panel on, they came in here with bonding adhesive and filled this whole trough. So I just filled it back up with Fiberglass. So then I'll just scuff that. I do need to add a little bit of Fiberglass up here as well, just because this was cut a little bit short. And it seems like this door was cut a little bit short, and you put those two together and it gives you a gap. So once this glue cures up, I'll come through here and build that up. It just needs a little bit. That'll just help it flow together and make it look nice. And then whenever they get it, if they want to Fiberglass this whole area and Fiberglass on top of that, you know, they can do that. And then I also Fiberglass this floor. Some people were concerned about the structural integrity of splicing a floor together like this, but he's going to end up cutting the heck out of this floor anyways, because he's going to put a big automatic transmission in it. So this part of the tunnel is going to get modified, as well as this part, and then there's that little piece that goes on for the Roadster shop part. So if you're concerned about this not being a 100% perfect floor, that's fine, because it's going to get cut up. If I bought a whole new dynamic floor right here, he would still cut the heck out of it. So it's going to be plenty strong. I Fiberglassed both sides of this repair, the underside, and then I just did the top side. So this will be nice and strong, and he's told me in the past, they've even come through here and put carbon fiber. Once they're done with all their work, they even put a layer of carbon fiber on top of everything. So these guys are pros, they know what they're doing, and whenever they're done, they'll finish it off the way that they want to. But I just wanted to get it to the point where it's mostly stock, and everything's nice and solid. You can walk in it, you can climb around in it, and that gives them the opportunity to make their modifications and take it from there. That's what I like to do on the channel. I like to give people a good starting foundation and then let them run from there. So that is the plan. This car is pretty well wrapped up. So guys, that about wraps up this project. There's still a little bit of work to do, but not enough really to make a video on it. This car is going to sit in the background for a while. These two are going to switch spots, and we're going to work on that split window for a while until this guy's ready to come pick up this car. Whenever he comes and picks it up, like I said, I have a little bit of sanding to do. I'll throw that at the end of the video that I do, where I do the full breakdown of this car, beginning to end, kind of where we started and finished on this car. But that'll be probably December time frame, so you can look out for that video. But we have stuff to do on that split window, and I'm going to be bringing that 65 Roadster over here once this leaves. And I'm going to try to spin those videos a little different way compared to how we did some of them in the past, because, well, we kind of do the same thing, you know, over and over and over again. We kind of have an assembly line. There's a little bit different repairs that we have to do to each car, but I'm hopefully going to try to make it educational in a little different way. And next week I have a video coming out on maybe a potential product that I'm going to release on the website, which if you didn't know, I have a website where you can buy some merchandise. I'm going to hopefully get some stickers out there on the website, but I'm going to start to come out with some little products to help you guys get your bird cages completed, and some tips and tricks. And the video series on the car behind me and the 65 Roadster will hopefully help tie into that as well. But if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I have a lot of work to do, so I'll catch you guys later.